Hello YouTube! My name is Sage. Today I'm going to be doing a deep dive into the new Air Genasi that came from Monsters in the Multiverse. Tracing their ancestry to the genies of the elemental planes, each Genasi can tap into the power of one of the elements, air, earth, fire, and water. These are the four pillars of the material plane and the four types of Genasi. Some Genasi are direct descendants of a genie, while others are born to non-Genasi parents who lived near a place suffused by a genie's magic. A typical Genasi has a lifespan of 120 years. Air Genasi are the descendants from Jinn, the genies of the elemental plane of air. Embodying many of the airy traits of their otherworldly ancestors, Air Genasi can draw upon their connection to the winds. Air Genasi's skin tone includes many shades of blue, along with the full range of human skin tones with bluish or ashen casts. Sometimes their skin is marked by lines that seem like cracks with bluish-white energy spilling out. An Air Genasi's hair might blow in a phantom wind or be made entirely of clouds of vapor. As an Air Genasi, you have the following traits. You are a humanoid. You can be medium or small, and you choose the size when you select the race. You have an increased movement speed to 35 feet. You have dark vision out to 60 feet, and you have unending breath, which lets you hold your breath indefinitely while you're not incapacitated. You also have lightning resistance, as well as mingle with the wind. You know the Shocking Grasp cantrip. Starting at 3rd level, you can cast the Featherfall spell with this trait without requiring a material component. Starting at 5th level, you can also cast the Levitate spell with this trait without requiring a material component. Once you cast Featherfall or Levitate with this trait, you can't cast that spell with it again until you finish a long rest. You can also cast either of those spells using any spell slot you have of the appropriate level. Intelligence, Wisdom, or Charisma are your spellcasting modifiers for this, and you can choose when you select the race. Now normally I talk about how much better it is for a caster with spell slots to get some of these race castings, these race spells, because they can cast them multiple times, but it's unlikely that you're going to need to cast Featherfall multiple times back to back. Not impossible, but unlikely. Usually Featherfall is something that comes up once in a blue moon, but when you need it, you really need it. So I would deem to say Featherfall being on a fighter is as good as it being on a spellcaster. Not quite, but pretty much close enough that I consider it negligible. Levitate, on the other hand, is one of those spells that we would want to cast multiple times, and Levitate is not on a ton of spell lists. It's only on the Sorcerer, Wizard, and Artificer spell lists, and it's a fantastic spell. It's a fantastically versatile spell. It can help your teammates, it can hinder enemies, it can do so many amazing things. It's really, really good. And so this branches us out to all of our other spellcasters, or even our marshals if we want to have this extra utility, but that's going to be a lot stronger on your spellcasters. So either it's going to take it off of your Sorcerer, Wizard, Artificer spell list to give you more spells, or you can start doing interesting levitating things as, you know, Druid, Rangers, Paladins, Clerics, so forth. And so we do get a lot of versatility that comes from this race. It can work really well with spellcasters, but it can also give marshals some cool things it can do. Featherfall on a marshal is dope. You can do so many cool things with that. As a fighter, jump off a building, and now you can reaction cast Featherfall, and you can go falling on people. You can do amazing things with this. I love it. I think this is really cool flavor, and I think those are some really clutch spells to bring from a race, both Levitate and Featherfall. Shocking Grasp is going to be hit or miss. Shocking Grasp is generally not like a standout cantrip to me. For Wizards, I don't want to be in that melee place, and to maybe get a disengage, I would rather just take the disengage. However, one build this does really stand out to me on is the Tempest Domain Cleric, where they need consistent ways to do lightning damage, and Air Genasi just gave it to them. So I've talked about how the Lightning Dragonborn, the Blue Dragonborn, or whatever ones are using lightning are really good with the Tempest Domain Cleric. I think Air Genasi are good as well. That not only can we get advantage if they have metal on them, hit them with lightning damage, knock them away. Now, I mean, it's kind of redundant because they weren't going to get a reaction attack anyways, but now we can like knock them off edges and stuff. So there's some cool things we can do as a Tempest Domain Cleric here. And I'm sure there's other places we can find use for Shocking Grasp. A Bard comes to mind. That every cantrip is so useful for a Bard because their cantrip list is just rough. Kind of same with Clerics, they have a rough cantrip list as well. So I'm sure there's other spots we can find it, but Tempest Domain really does stand out. Lightning Resistance is just good, you know. On everyone wants lightning resistance if they can get it. Unending Breath is pretty interesting because it's like now we can have water breathing in a very unique way, but it can also be hold your breath from poisonous gases. It's very versatile to be able to infinitely hold your breath, pretend to be dead, whatever it may be. Dark Vision's clutch, we get our extra movement speed. So yeah, at the end of the day, how I feel about Air Genasi, they are unique and powerful. They are very versatile, but you're never going to get a flavor that Air Genasi gives you elsewhere. Air Genasi is a very specific flavor, And I think there's a ton of builds you can do with this. On every class, there's a lot of cool things you can do. I feel like for the martial side of things, we have Featherfall, which is a huge boon for martials. On the other side, for spellcasters, we get more casts of Levitate or get it on our spell list, which is a fantastic spell. There's a lot of cool things we can do with this, and I think this Air Genasi is a lot better than the old Air Genasi. So, good job, Wizards of the Coast. I think this was a step in the right direction. If you want to check out more of these deep dives that come from Monsters in the Multiverse, we have a whole playlist of these races you can check out. We also do a bunch of character builds, and I'm sure I'm going to be at some point doing an Air Genasi character build, so you can check out our character build playlist for inspiration as well as some cool build ideas. We are D&D Daily. We release new D&D content every single day, so if that's interesting to you, hit the subscribe button, and we'll see you on the next one. Peace!